This is Sean Ryu, and I'm back with another video today. And today I'm going to be talking about how to reduce volume with your hygiene kits, as well as how to go ultralight and get rid of some of the unnecessary weight. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about different ways of brushing your teeth on the trail. This is a travel toothbrush. It's one option that you can have, and it's just a way of reducing volume instead of using a regular toothbrush that may be a little bit longer. It's going to weigh about the same thing, but personal option that I actually prefer to do, or thing that prefer to do, is just take a toothbrush, cut it off, and then just burn this or melt it down so it's not rough around the edges, and you've got a toothbrush. This thing weighs a lot less than carrying a full-size toothbrush and takes up a lot of less space. So I used to use the one from Z-Packs. I don't have it in here, but what it would do is it was this part, and then it had like another piece that would slide in, but that piece kept coming loose, and I didn't find that I liked the way that the brushes felt, so I just ended up not using it. It didn't seem like it was something that was going to be something that would last a long time. Yeah, for a couple days backpack on the weekend maybe, but for long-term trail use, this is the option that I prefer to go with. And then some of the things that you can get with the Z-Packs toothbrushes, these are little toothpaste bottles or whatever you want to call it, but they're smaller options. But there's another option that I prefer to use. If you're not familiar with this, I actually ordered this on Amazon. I want to say it's about $8 or something like that. They're called Toothpaste Tablets. You get 60 of them in here, and it says chew, brush, and rinse. What you basically do, I'll show you, these are what the tablets look like, is you put a little water in your mouth, you chew on these, and then you use it like toothbrush or toothpaste. These things weigh hardly anything. Matter of fact, I'll put it on my scale so I can give you an idea of how much they weigh. And what I would do is just pack two for every day that I was going to be backpacking out. So let me give you an idea. May not even pick up on my scale. So that weighs 0.025 ounces. So just kind of give you an idea of weight, which is going to be a lighter option than carrying a tube of toothpaste or even carrying this whole bottle. Just get like a little baggie like this, put them in, get rid of this bottle or just keep it at home. So that way when you're ready to go on your next backpacking trip, you can just take these and put them in there. So those are my options for brushing my teeth. As far as cleaning and bathing, for those of you guys that aren't familiar with this is called Dr. Bronner's Magic Soap. This stuff is pretty awesome. I carry the unscented because of the fact that I don't want anything that's going to have scents or add to anything kind of additional smells. That way, kind of keep the animals away and the mice and stuff like that. But for those of you guys that so the way this works is it's actually really highly concentrated. And all it takes is a couple of drops, but what you can actually do with this is you can actually use it as shampoo, you can use it as a body wash, you can also use it to wash your laundry. So if you have clothes or anything like that and you want to wash it, you can use this to wash that. In addition to that, you can also use it for washing food, and then the other thing that you can also use it for is actually if you're desperate and you really need to, it also says that you can actually use it for brushing your teeth. So it's just another option. Now what I do is instead of carrying this full bottle, and this is, let me tell you what the exact size of the bottle is. I don't even think it tells you. It's probably like a 1 ounce bottle. But what I actually do is I go in and I repackage it. You can get these little dropper bottles on Amazon. It's another thing that I use for repackaging some of my backpacking gear. But this is a 10 milliliter bottle. And so what I do is I just fill it up. And this is more than enough to get me through about 2 weeks because, again, it's highly concentrated. So let me kind of give you an idea. This isn't even a full bottle. This is a little more than halfway full, just to show you. But if you look at the weight on it, it weighs 1.75 ounces versus this, which weighs 0.48. So, significant savings in weight by just going with this. And then if you look at the volume, definitely a lot smaller going with this route or this option versus going with this option. So that's how I do that. And another thing is that I'll show you these things real quick. I use a bandana. I carry a bandana all the time. I use it for my head. You can definitely use it for emergency situation, for bandaging and things like that. There are so many uses for a bandana that I would never go backpacking without one, but you can also use this as a washcloth. So combined with these two things, you got your soap and you got a washcloth to wash yourself with. If you want something else, this is just a Pac Towel. This is actually a bigger one than I normally use, but what I would do is just cut this up into smaller pieces. That way I can use it if I decide to go that route as well. So that's another option. And then another thing is this is just for example purposes. Wet wipes are another option. But what I would do is before I actually went on a backpacking trip, I would take all the wet wipes out and I would let them air dry. That way it gets rid of the water weight, which is significant. You would be surprised at how much weight is actually in these because of the water weight. Plus it makes it a lot harder to actually compress these or fold them up or anything like that. But when these things are dried out, you can fold them up, they weigh a lot less, and then when you need to use it, just pour a little bit of water and it rehydrates it so you're able to use it. So that's an option for that. Another thing is toilet paper, something we all are going to end up using, but another way to just kind of get rid of the bulk as well as get rid of some unnecessary weight is just take the tube out of here. Normally there's a tube in here, you guys all know that. Just pull it out. You've got your toilet paper and it makes it so you can kind of smash it down a little bit more, and then get rid of some weight from that perspective as well. So another thing is as a backpacker, you guys all can relate. At some point or another, you're going to get some chafing. There's different options. You can use Gold Bond or Body Glide. Both work well. What I like about the Gold Bond powder is the fact that, if for some reason or another you need to put it in your shoes to get rid of some moisture, it's an option. Both have worked well for me, but what I do is instead of using these, I go with this. It's just a little dropper bottle. Same deal as what I did with the Dr. Bronner's, except with this one right here, this is, I want to say, maybe a 20 or 30 milliliter bottle. And what I do is I put the powder in there. That way I can repackage it. It's got a smaller, I cut off the top so I can still squeeze it out. I'm making a little mess right now. But that way, instead of me carrying this, I can just carry this. So just another option. It's smaller, it's going to be lighter. I only carry what I need versus the extra that I don't need. So that's just another option. Another thing that you can also get are these things made by Coleman. They're camp soap sheets. Kind of the same deal as the Dr. Bronner's, but what it is, let me open it up. It's a little soap sheet, and that's what one looks like. And you just stick it in water and it dissolves, and it's another way of just having soap. So that's just another option. And then what I would do is instead of carrying it in this package, I would just grab a couple of these because they hardly weigh anything and just repackage them in like a little teeny Ziploc bag like I did with the toothpaste. So another thing that you're going to also want to carry is some type of hand sanitizer. This is a 1 fluid ounce or 29 milliliter bottle. What I do is I have this little bottle, and what I'll do is I'll actually just package in what I need. So like for smaller trips, you may only need that much, or for longer trips, fill this up all the way. But versus carrying the bigger, bulkier ones, like the ones that are about this size or bigger, just get a smaller one. Package what you need, that way you're not carrying the extra weight and you got a smaller container to do it in. So last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and pause this real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what my kit consists of, fully geared out for a trip, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So let me go ahead and just start wrapping this up. Normally what I do is I do carry a couple of those camp soap sheets, put them in a little Ziploc bag, just something extra to have. I also carry a cut down toothbrush, toothpaste tabs, and normally 2 for each day. And this would be an example of what I would carry for about a week. Like I said, the hand sanitizer, Dr. Bronner's packaged in a 10 milliliter dropper bottle. And this would actually probably normally last me about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how often I was using it. Obviously, in the summertime, you're going to be washing things a little more, so just kind of keep that in mind. And then, here's the the Gold Bond that I did in a 30 milliliter dropper bottle. And all I do is, you know, this is like a little Ziploc sandwich bag, is I just put everything in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything in here, and then I'm just going to give you a final weight. That way you have an idea of how much all of this stuff weighs. And actually what I do is I don't put my hand sanitizer in with this stuff, and the reason being is because of the fact that I like to keep that in one of my hip belt pockets. That way if I'm, you know, snacking on the trail or anything like that, my hands get really dirty. So it's just, that wouldn't normally go in here, but I'll include it in my weight. So with everything combined that I just showed you, I'm currently at exactly 2.0 ounces. So exactly at 2 ounces. So, you know, when you look at all the things that I had before, you know, this is just a significant way of reducing the volume as well as reducing the weight. And I hope this helped you out. If you liked the video, please hit the like button below. As always, like, share, and subscribe. This is Sean Ryu.
Moving like the speed of sound.